Grand Theft Auto 5 was released for the PS3 7 years ago, and the online component took another couple months to release. With a horrid launch, it was all ready to be thrown out and discarded out of public view. But just recently, it managed to outsell Outriders on the PlayStation Store, a brand new, highly anticipated AAA game. So why am I recommending a game that is this old when there are literally a million other online games to play? Well, here are 5 reasons that can very well answer that question. Number 1. Businesses. Now, GTA is a game that centrally focuses on crime. There is no two ways about it. It is all about making a lot of money while getting introduced to important characters and taking out anyone who stands in your way. Now, when you earn enough, why not invest in some shady little underground practices that'll give you substantial returns on your investments? For this very purpose, we have MC businesses where you have to invest in a decent amount of in-game money to start all kinds of illegal underground activities that we've only dreamed about in movies. Haven't we all wished at one point how amazing it would be to be like Walter White and swim around in wads of cash? Well, you can be a drug lord or a kingpin and run a proper crystal meth business. Is it just me, or does this remind you of a certain factory where Jesse and Walter used to do their little experiments? GTA, I'm sure, takes direct inspiration from the show. Right from the vessels to the storage drums and their protective coats all bear a striking resemblance. Now suppose Walter White isn't your style. Maybe it's more Pablo Escobar. But this time you're not in the jungles of Colombia, but a shady looking warehouse where semi-naked people sort cocaine out for you. Now cocaine nets you the most amount of profit, but the amount you have to invest is also significantly huge. More the investment, better the profits. Now similar to these, there are 3 more shady MC enterprises you might be interested in. A weed farm perhaps, if you're one of the more nirvana seeking types that is. You can upgrade all of these businesses to give them an updated look and increase their efficiency, and out of all the upgrades, the weed farm gets the best look. The trippy purple is sure to trip you out, irrelevant of whether you're on the joint or not. The remaining 2 MC businesses include counterfeiting cash and a document forgery office. Not as exciting, but titillating nonetheless. These are very efficient when you're just starting out and don't have enough money to invest in either the coke, meth or weed businesses. Now maintaining all of these can be a big headache. But to solve this headache, you have a central point of activity from where you can control most of these activities surrounding these businesses. A nightclub. A nightclub in GTA is another place where you can go to unwind, but this time you can break loose. Literally. With some serious DJs covering your dance floor for a little extra in-game cash, this might be your only chance at redemption at a party life, thanks to COVID and its lockdowns. Well, let's not forget that this is a crime-oriented game, so a nightclub isn't just a nightclub. This nightclub is your very own den of crime where you can manage your other MC businesses under a single screen and make more money out of them. There are many more businesses as well, but it is pointless to cover them here since there are a lot of detailed videos on YouTube as to which one you should choose, as some of them are much more profitable than the others. If you're interested, there are bunkers where you can ship weapons and simultaneously upgrade your own in the process, a warehouse business where you can supply crates full of antiques, or import-export some seriously good-looking luxury cars. Then, there are the airplane hangars having you ferry goods in some well-scripted air missions. It is all there. Whatever businesses you end up owning have their own set of missions that will keep you occupied for a long time. All this means that you're literally at the mercy of having to pick and choose whichever businesses you want. I've linked a pretty useful Reddit page in the description which might help you get started on any of the above businesses along with their merits and demerits. Now, just to let you know, the link is not mine and full credits go to Reddit user BigRickii. Number 2. Heists. Now suppose you're more into plots and proper organized crime where you get to feel like you're in some super secret espionage mission or play as high-tech powered thieves like in Ocean's 11. You are in luck, cause heists seem to be tailor-made for you. Now these are elaborate planned robberies where you gotta do a significant amount of scoping and setting up, resulting in some tedious mini missions but a very cinematic and satisfying final mission. Adding to this is the fact that you get a bucket load of cash and experience points after you finish any of these heists and are simply the easiest way to make a quick buck. You can start off by purchasing a high-end flat, and Lester sets you up with a tutorial-esque Fleesa job heist. Now it is basic, but once you start playing it, you'll realize that these are not your regular missions. They take time and effort and some serious coordination with your teammates. There are separate heists for every individual personality. For the more action-oriented, there is a prison break where you have to rescue a high-profile target out of a maximum security prison. If you're more of an elite thief, you have the Diamond Casino heist, where you break into a vault with a couple of friends and grab whatever is inside the vault. mostly diamonds or blocks of gold or some seriously expensive paintings. Then there is a Doomsday Heist, which is probably one of the most elaborate crime sequences in any game. Almost all of these will require you to have friends or some companions along. But if you're more of a solo player, like me, you have the new Cayo Perico Heist. In my opinion, the best one to get your hands on if you're in need for some serious cash in a quick amount of time, alone. Now the problem with heists which require more people is that the success or failure of the heist depends on the skill rating of these random players. Sometimes, the silliest of their mistakes can make you fail the mission, thus ending a good amount of invested time. Now you can restart the failed heist, but the patience levels of these randoms is very thin and the first wipe usually ends up with them quitting. Then you have to go back in the queue searching for another random. But if you do end up with a good group, it becomes like a well-oiled machinery with every cog doing its part. The amount of replayability in all of these heists is ridiculous since all of them have different approaches, different execution, and different escape strategies, making you want to try each approach at least once. This makes one heist have around 7 to 8 possibilities and you usually want to try each one of them. There is something for everyone. Number 3. The graphics. Just have a look at all this. For a game that is almost 7 years old, it is a miracle that it looks as good as it does. Not just the way it looks, the performance as well is excellent. Now I do admit that the engine is outdated, but it still does its job. Much better than most newly released games out there. I'm looking at you, Cyberpunk. Now I'm not even gonna mention mods because with that it looks phenomenal. But we're not gonna talk about that because mods are a completely different universe altogether. With dynamic weather, you're always in for a surprise during your missions. The crisp sunshine can make you forget you have some bloodthirsty biker gangs behind you, while a rainy day can break all hell loose because of skiddy roads putting your vehicle's traction out of control. And if you think that's bad, wait till you get some snow on the road. You'll be sliding and slipping all over the place. The thunderstorms too can freak you out sometimes, especially if you're trying to not alert any enemy NPCs. The game visuals have a very wonderful habit of every now and then reminding you of how truly beautiful the game world really looks. Number 4. The multiple things you can do via jobs. Now this section comprises of what everything GTA does all piled into one section of the menu. If you're a new player, everything you see out there can be extremely overwhelming. But if you want to find some solace, you can spend some time checking out the job menu and slowly trying to grasp the entirety of it all. It has every game mode available, I think, for a third person and a first person perspective. Get a load of all this. It has normal races, stunt races, transformation races involving cars, planes, bikes, boats, the works. Then you have gunfights, team versus enemy AIs, protecting the flag, conquer an area, everything. It also has some PUBG and Fortnite inspired battle arenas. Rockstar has regular events that gives double the money and experience, sometimes even triple, every week on these certain events, and on these days the player lobbies are loaded. You also have arena mode battles which involves netting bombs into opposition goals using your cars just like in Rocket League. Yes, they are inspired, but they are all fun. And as I mentioned earlier, it is hard to wrap around the fact that a single game manages to compress this amount of game modes. There is just so much to do. Want to relax and play a leisurely game of tennis? You can. Want to go even more relaxed mode and go for some golf? You can again. Don't like the way you look? Go get a haircut. Surf across multiple wardrobe choices and add some outright hilarious ones to the mix. It is just a wonder that a game can met out as many things to do as GTA does. Number 5. The vehicles. Now obviously it's a GTA game, so the vehicles are gonna get mentioned. When GTA Online released around 7 years back, it had a bunch of vehicles that you could only dream of. But all that pales in comparison to the amount of vehicles available now. It is ridiculous how it caters to each and every kind of player. For the rugged macho types, you have the Warstock Armory, where you can see all the heavy weaponry mounted vehicles built for the battlefield. For the sports car lovers, you have the legendary Motorsport, which brings you all kinds of supercars replicating most real-life cars. Almost all the in-game cars mirror their real-life counterparts and are replicated to perfection even with the engine and transmission sounds. For the sedan lovers, you have your typical run-of-the-mill vehicles mostly used by us average folk, right from the good-looking ones to the really dull, bland ones. And then there are the muscle cars. Wow. There are plenty of videos out there showcasing just how similar the in-game engine sounds to the real ones. Incredibly detailed. Then there are the truck variants, these mega monsters which take up most of the road for that royal I own the road feeling. And if you're feeling extra special and are willing to put in some extra hard work, you can get your hands on some futuristic special vehicles. The Oppressor MK2, a flying bike, and the DeLorean, a flying car. The Oppressor can be modified a step further by installing a missile launcher, making it the most powerful vehicle in the game. Now with all that power comes responsibility. The urge to feel toxic is strong in this one. Do not be that griefer who is unanimously hated by the entire GTA community. There are these groups of people who roam around with oppressors making hell for everyone and anyone playing the game, forcing you to quit while these people are out and about. Do not be those kind of people. Be civil, be kind. Also, these kind of vehicles are kind of cringed upon because it takes away the more realistic vision of GTA and gives it a more of a Saints Row kind of vibe. But we're talking about the positives here, so let's keep that aside. Now back to regular vehicles. If you're still not satisfied with the look of the vehicles, then there are customizations. Paint your cars with whatever color you like or change the look completely with liveries. Customize your engines, transmission, braking, wheels, however you want them to look like. If you're feeling particularly vulnerable, you can stick some armor plates onto the car, making it untouchable to anyone with a menial weapon. Now let me just remind you, all these are just the land vehicles. The planes, the jets, the helicopters, the boats, the dinghies, a submarine, an underwater vehicle. The entire scope of it all tends to leave you breathless, to be honest. The myriad of ways you can traverse around is ridiculous. You can even manage bicycles, if that is your thing. So let's recap. This is easily the coolest crime open world game you can get your hands on if you have time to burn in this lockdown or pandemic. There is no other game in this genre, and even if there is, it doesn't come close. And you wonder why Rockstar isn't teasing a GTA 6 yet, even after all these years. I hope all these reasons are good enough to get you into the game. So get some buddies along or enjoy it solo, but go for it and be the closest thing to a criminal mastermind millionaire you've always wanted to be.